It's a chilly one on this Sunday in Bloomington, Indiana, as we welcome you to town for a critical Big Ten matchup. Number 11 Maryland is on the road and is ready to tangle with Indiana as we begin our doubleheader on BTN. With Vera Jones, Mike Monaco on hand, and Vera, Maryland has a lot of firepower in the front court, so Indiana will need some stout post defense.
Yeah, that's right. Stephanie Jones is coming off a 20-point effort in the paint against Ohio State, so Indiana's going to look to do a lot of what they did against Michigan. Look at it. Just take it away from big 6'5" Hallie Thome. Always a double team. Look at number 1. That is Allie Patberg. She's on special defensive assignment as well as the off guard. Every single time the post gets the ball, there's at the very least a double team, and quite often a steal going the other way. So you want to make sure you pay attention in the paint. Indiana's going to try to make it happen there.
Well, let's check out the starting lineups. Maryland would love to get Kyla Charles and Blair Watson rolling offensively. And meanwhile, for Indiana, you were here on Thursday when Jalen Penn dropped a career-high 28 in this building.
I saw some amazing stuff just the other day. It was absolutely fanatical. Is that even a word?
I'm not sure.
28 points. She makes you make up words. 28 points on 6 of 7 from behind the arc. That's the kind of offense she's got to bring today. Again, this is an Indiana team that's looking to pull off a legitimate upset against Maryland. They're going to need to pull out all the stops.
Shakira Austin and Bendu Yaney jump center, and it's Bendu Yaney who tips it into the hands of Stephanie Jones, and off we go from Bloomington. Maryland is number 11 in the country, 6-2 in the Big Ten. Austin on the offensive boards, and Kyla Charles. Maryland is such a good rebounding team year in and year out, and they already get 2 to lead to the first 2 points.
And notice how all 3 of their front court players got a nice touch on the basketball.
Austin gets a block on Kim Royster.
Another thing we're going to want to pay attention to in this game is the pace, the tempo. Indiana came out at a really nice pace their last contest, but it's a whole new ball game when you're talking the University of Maryland. This is a team that has, for a very long time, all of Brenda Frese's teams run. They get out in transition, they shove the ball down the defensive throats, and that is one of the reasons why they are the best scoring team in conference.
That's what Brenda Frese said to us when they pulled into the arena today. We want to get out and run. Watson nearly turned it over.
At Kim Royster and Bendu Yaney defensively.
Yaney streaks to the cup.
That's a good start for Indiana. Now, can they maintain that tempo, and can they maintain that defensive tenacity?
So you said Maryland wants to run. That's what we heard from Brenda Frese. What tempo do you think Indiana wants this game played?
Well, they were very, very successful on the run. I mean, don't get it twisted. Terry Morin, she recruits very much like Brenda Frese. She wants players that can get up and down the floor and be efficient at it.
Stephanie Jones connected on the jump shot. She's coming off a good game. In that win over Ohio State, she went for 20. Kim Royster on the inside levels the score 2 minutes in. What a fast tempo.
What a fast tempo and a great crowd inside Scott Assembly Arena. Simon Scott, if we're going to be exact.
You like precision. Maryland 6-2 in the Big Ten as Taylor Mikesell misses the jump shot. Maryland team that wants to get out to a good start on the road, because if you remember, just over a week ago at Michigan State, Spartans blitzed the Terps early. There's Jalen Penn picking right up where she left off from Thursday against Michigan.
The rise on that shot, and that is one of the areas where Jalen Penn is beginning to create. She's not just to stand outside and shoot it. She's got a nice step back. She's got a floater into the key, as you just saw there.
Contested jumper from Kyla Charles, but another offensive rebound from the star freshman Shakira Austin, who couldn't convert.
But Austin staying active in a key.
Royster runs the floor.
You asked me about the pace and the tempo. Well, there you have it. Indiana wants to run just as much as Maryland. They are ready. There was always a question mark, but when you're talking about Brenda Frese, I mean, they were the original Push it. I mean, even before salt and pepper. Am I dating you? Do you know
No,
salt
you
and
are
pepper
not.
are? Okay. Yeah, they like to push it.
Jones can't rattle in the jump shot. And a foul off ball goes on Shakira Austin. This is the transition we've been talking about.
This is exactly, and it begins. You can't transition if you don't have the basketball. So big ups to small Yaney. At 5'10", she's got that 6'3" wingspan, and she gets out and grabs rebounds. And look on another look at Jess Royster getting out in front. So I think this is an Indiana team that said, you know what? We're going to do what we do best. We know that Maryland wants to run too, but we're pretty good at it as well.
Allie Patberg kept it herself, and Taylor Mikesell poked it away. Mikesell is good all over the court. It's the reason why she leads this team in minutes. Brianna Frazier in off the bench, walks with it.
Yeah, I was about to say Frazier definitely got away with a couple of extra quick steps. She's trying to do that NBA thing. They let that pass into the NBA. Here, you can only have, on the catch, she tried to take, she actually traveled on the catch as well as when she tried to lay it.
A trap on Grace Berger, one of the freshmen for Indiana.
Berger with some skills, so she likes that behind the back.
And she used up about 9 seconds. That was close. And Terry Morin takes a timeout with the trap near midcourt. Wow, what a fast tempo we have had so far. The Hoosiers have doubled up the Terps early on. So far for a big matchup here at Assembly Hall as we welcome you courtside in Bloomington. Vera Jones, Mike Monaco with you, and if all 4 quarters are like these first 4 minutes, it's going to be fun today.
It has been really fast-paced, and to be honest, it favors both teams. So we expect to see this pace continue.
It's an important game for both these teams that are just separated by 1 game at this point in the Big Ten standings. It's crowded at the top. Rutgers recently picked up that first loss, so Maryland within striking distance with a couple other teams in Iowa and Purdue.
Yeah, and Indiana is right there in the chase. Maryland certainly wants to hold on to this one. They have Rutgers coming up, another opportunity to get back into that first place nod if they can get past this very competitive parity lace conference.
Brenna Wise sinks the 3 right in front of Brenda Frese, who you saw in her 17th season at the helm. And she has maintained this season that it's a group that is still ascending, and with a couple freshman starters that is going to reach its peak maybe a little bit later in the year than some of the other veteran teams do in the country.
I like Brenna Wise. I like the newcomers for this Indiana team, period. I think they have so much potential. I think a few teams may have not even thought about Indiana being in the hunt, but they are.
Charles with that breakaway speed scored as Bendu Yaney backtracked.
And that's what Maryland does best. Kyla Charles has super jets. I mean, the way she can get out and run sets the tempo for this Maryland team.
Wise from the same spot.
If you missed it the first time, I have another for you. She's living her best life.
The redshirt junior from Pittsburgh hits it 46% from 3, and Kyla Charles answers.
She continues to and that's what Kyla Charles does. Just when another team is getting excited about a big play, she just comes down and gets the easy layup.
Bendu Yaney off the bounce. Patberg drives, good hands again defensively by Taylor Mikesell.
Patberg's going to have to understand this is a Maryland team that loves defense and does an awesome job in the paint.
Charles has been relentless in the first 6 minutes.
Like I said, you can celebrate all you want, but Charles is going to just go ahead, put her head down, and go straight to the rack every time. That's why she is one of the best players in this conference.
Maryland has 3 offensive rebounds already. Alexa Gouldbay, the freshman from Latvia, tracked down her own miss, and she draws a foul.
One of the positive notes on this Indiana team is the fact that they can knock down threes with the quickness. Brenna Wise there, but Kyla Charles, she's okay with 2. She just multiplies them, comes out the same way. It
was the first foul on Stephanie Jones, who checks out here. We've talked about Maryland's rebounding prowess. Jones is certainly a part of that. But Indiana did such an excellent job rebounding here against another team with a great front court in Michigan on Thursday.
They did indeed. Maryland, the best rebounding team in the conference, one of the top 10 in the nation.
Offensive foul on Charles.
Great job from Ben Duyaney, and if you want to try to draw a charge on someone, it's good if you're Indiana for it to be Charles. Charles dropped 24 points last season against this Indiana team, so they want to do whatever they can to keep her out of the mix.
She's the number 6 scorer in the Big Ten, and she has 8 already. Wise takes it off the bounce this time. Might have had that altered by Frazier and Charles.
Great defensive effort from Maryland, getting that shot from behind. Look at Yaney, she's out of control.
And she's on the run out. Ben Duyaney lays it in.
Out of control in a good way, that is.
Charles streaks back the other way.
What did I tell you? We barely finished talking about Yaney, and Charles is like, you can talk about that if you want, but I'm over here. She just is amazing at getting out in front and getting to the basket.
When we showed you the starting lineups, that's what we said. Maryland would love to get more scoring out of Claire Watson, as it's a traveling call on Yaney. But Kyla Charles as well, who's had a couple quiet scoring games within the last 3-4 games for Maryland.
Quiet, but maybe she's just saving it up. I often look at her and I wonder, like, gosh, why is she so fast? Her mother, Ruperta, was in the '84 Olympics. She ran track at Howard, so I'm going to say she get it from her mama.
You don't have to look too far on that one to figure it out.
Oh, yeah. Great defense down low.
There was a double team. It was Penn who helped out on Charles.
So Indiana doing a great job at double teaming on the block.
This has been an electric first 8 minutes. Charles is feeling it. She's got a dozen. Kyla Charles.
She's one of those players that when you're on the playground, even though you might have like some of the best post players, you still pick her first. You're like, I gotta have her. Gotta have her on my team. You know she's instant offense. You know she can create her own.
Berger does as well. She's a freshman. She comes in and she hunts shots.
Averages about 5.5 points per game for this Indiana team, but certainly a very capable scorer coming out of high school in Louisville, Kentucky.
Watson hiding behind the screen. She is now 4 of 19 on her last nearly 23-point attempts. Trying to get in rhythm from beyond the arc.
Oh, wow. Jalen Penn just gave that one up. She was sharing. Guess who's out on the front?
It's a 4-point game, and Kyla Charles has all but 2 points for Maryland in nearly 9 minutes.
I'm saying Kyla Charles, if she ever gave up basketball, she could easily just go ahead and run track with no problem.
Jalen Penn was out of control against that full-court pressure from Maryland.
Talk about running track. Penn gives the basketball away, just literally gives it to Shanice Lewis. And the best lane filler probably in the nation is right there to receive it.
That is very high praise.
Kyla Charles.
The junior from Glendale, Maryland, averages about 15.5, and you see she has been nearly that productive, and we're not done with the first quarter.
Nice rub screens over the top. Some ball screen action trying to get Mike Sell going. She's going.
Wow. She yanked that one back and hit the long 2. Kiana Worden, 2 in the white, has checked in off the bench, and she has started to score a little bit more off the bench for Terry Moore. But another turnover. That is 7 for Indiana. Sarah Vujicic, the lefty off the bench, is good.
You like that lefty jump shot. Nice little mid-range jumper. Adds a little versatility to this really exciting Maryland offense.
It's a 4-second difference between game and shot clocks. Terry Moore just put up 1 finger. She wants Indiana to essentially get the last shot if they can.
That's right. On a 1-4 low situation, they'll come up and they were trying to get Pat Berg to knock it out. Pat Berg's been a little off with the shot from long range.
5 seconds. Pick and pop Charles. And that ends an eventful first 10 minutes. And boy, if the next 30 are anything like this, we are in for a fun one. 20 all after the first quarter in Bloomington. One quarter between Maryland and Indiana. You just saw Tyra Buss. The reason we showed you that, she's hanging out courtside with us. Vera, Mike, and Tyra kind enough to join us. What do you think, watching the highlights and then being on this side of the court?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, you know, not playing, but, you know, it's definitely great to see them start off the season so well. You know, and I played with a lot of them, and it's just great that they, you know, are continuing to have success, and I'm nothing but more happy for them.
Yeah, you guys went on such a great run under your head coach, of course, Terry Morin. Last year, you win the WNIT, and they have just built on it this year.
Absolutely, and that's what we, you know, wanted them to do, and so it's just great to see them have so much success, and, you know, they work so hard, and I'm just, you know, nothing, like I said, nothing but happy for them. Those are my best friends and my sisters out there, so it's just, you know, great watching them play.
Boy, Jalen Penn was so good the other night. She hit 6 threes.
She was. It was definitely crazy. But that's Jalen. You know, she can get hot real quick and stay hot.
You know, we were talking a lot about this tempo, Tyra, but that's kind of become the culture of Indiana basketball. Can you talk a lot about, because I don't know if there were many faster than you. How much is that a part of what Terry Morin coaches?
That's a big part. You know, we work a lot in practice. Our first thing that we work on for offense is transition offense. And so we like to push tempo, and, you know, that's how we play. And so it's great to see them continue to keep doing that. And they get a lot of success off of that.
Stephanie Jones at the free throw line after the foul was on Jalen Penn, her first. So, Tyra, fill us in. What have you been up to since your playing days ended in great fashion, hanging a banner here in this gym? What have you been up to?
Right now, I'm finishing my degree. You know, I wasn't allowed to student teach during season, so I'm a physical education major, so I got to finish my student teaching practicum, so I'm finishing that right now. I'll graduate in May, and then, you know, just kind of seeing what's next for me. So I'm still, you know, searching for different options. If I'm going to continue to play, if I'm going to, you know, maybe get a GA position somewhere and start coaching. I'm just kind of, you know, surveying my options and just seeing.
That was Bendu Yaney who gives the lead back to the Hoosiers.
Was talking about Bendu Yaney's athleticism. You can just look at her and go, my goodness, great vitamins, right?
It's crazy.
Talk about playing with her, especially when she was a freshman last year.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And she's taken such, you know, big steps, you know, from last year to this year, and that comes with, you know, the experience and her playing so many minutes last year as a freshman. But she just, you know, continues to get better, and that's just, you know, working hard every day. And like you said, she's super athletic. If you can just look at her, I mean, she does the opening tip.
Yes.
And she's not even the tallest player on the floor, so it's unreal, you know, her athleticism.
Yeah, that 6'3" wingspan, and she's got amazing up. She can, you know, her vertical jump is just pretty outstanding. Absolutely.
That was 2 more for Kyla Charles, who has 16 points. So, I mean, you've faced Maryland through the years, and that's always been a powerhouse program, not just obviously in the conference, but nationally as well. What's it like going up against them?
Oh, yeah, you know, they're a great program. You know, Brenda Freed does a great job with them year in and year out. And so, yeah, Kyla Charles, she's a great player. You know, I've always enjoyed playing against her, even whenever she was a freshman. She's just continues to get better year after year. And like you said, she already has 16. It's just started the second quarter, so that's just unreal.
Got some help, too, in the backcourt. That was Taylor Mikesell, the freshman for Maryland, who has burst onto the scene. Did you have a favorite team to play against, either from a rivalry perspective or just you enjoyed the way that those games went?
I would say definitely Purdue, but, you know, that's always, you know, in-state rivalry. And so, yeah, definitely Purdue would be one of the games I would always look forward to every year.
We're hanging out with Tyra Buss, more than 2,300 career points. We showed the highlights, and back in the gym here in Bloomington.
When you talk about favorite team to play, obviously Purdue has been that legendary game, but you've created some legendary stuff yourself, obviously. That's not a bad photo either. Are you shopping that for some modeling? Is that part of your career options?
I don't know about that.
How about that last line? How do you average 40 minutes a game like that? I mean, you hardly came off the court.
Yeah, I mean, I've always, you know, ran a lot. Great condition. You know, my mom was my track coach in high school, so you can only imagine how that was. She definitely made sure I was in great shape, and I just continued to, like I said, I'm a runner. I enjoy that, and I don't like sitting on the bench, so I try to do whatever I can to make sure I can stay out on the floor.
So that's the secret. When your mom is your track coach,
oh, yeah.
like, you're not even allowed to, like, go to bed slow.
Oh,
like,
no, absolutely
hurry up
not.
and get to bed. Hurry up. Clean the dishes.
Off the baseline, out of bounds. Vujicic missed the jump shot, but another offensive rebound. That is 6 already for Maryland, but a 5th turnover for the Terps. Penn left open.
There it is. There it is. Now, you know that's on the scouting report, particularly coming off of a 28-game performance. But, oh, my goodness.
Traveling the call on Taylor Mikesell, who had buried the 3, and Brenda Fries does not love it. Here's Jalen Penn.
Well, this is huge. Again, she's wide open. No rotation or very slow rotation out of that set. That was Frazier that had to come up and defend.
So, Tyra, I got to ask you, when Jalen Penn has that little bounce, you know it's going in, right?
Every time. Every time. She started that even when she came here, and as a freshman, I can tell, when she gets that little bounce, and you can see it in film, too, every time. It goes straight in.
Blair Watson trying to deny Jalen Penn. Gainey off the bounce, around the corner, but short-armed it, and Shakira Austin with a rebound.
Gainey likes to turn that corner quick.
What do you think being on headset? You like it from this side?
I like it.
Not as fun as playing.
Not as fun, but you guys have a good view over here.
You definitely don't lose as much weight. Definitely. Got cookies over here. Gail gave us. What's going on?
That was the first foul on Alexa Gulbe. Then a slower start to this second quarter with scoring. Just 11 combined points in the first 4 minutes. Here's Shanice Lewis. Not known for her scoring, and she doesn't get the roll. Great defense from Austin. Reached the hands in on Jalen Penn, who thought the ball belonged to the Hoosiers, but it goes back to the Terps.
Austin definitely has that presence. Just a freshman, one of the best shot blockers in the country.
Allie Patberg picks up defensively. What'd you see from Allie and Brenna last year? They obviously had to sit out as transfers, but were so big in their roles still with your guys' team.
Absolutely, and I'm so happy to see them both out on the floor and playing together, and especially Allie, having not being able to really play at Notre Dame, and having some injuries and sicknesses, and so it's just great to see all of her hard work pay off, and her being able to actually get out on the floor and play majority of the game. And Brenna and Allie are both tremendous leaders. You can just see that last year, and they've really taken this team over this year, and took Amanda and I graduating and having to kind of take over that leadership role, and they've embraced that, and they've been nothing but good for this team. And like I said, I'm just really happy to see them out on the floor playing and having a good time out there.
Did you guys match up against each other a lot with Patberg maybe on the scout team?
Absolutely, yeah. Patberg and Brenna were both on the scout team, so I would always guard Allie, and Amanda would always guard Brenna. So it was definitely being able to play against them and scout. You can definitely see their skills, and but this year they've definitely they worked so hard, and they were in the gym just as much as Amanda and I were, and they weren't even playing last year. So you can just see their hard work, and they're just gym rats. And I know Coach Morin always says that a lot about them, but they really are.
Take us inside a Terry Morin locker room. How much is the scouting report a big part of what you have to know, like for a team like Maryland?
Oh, absolutely. And our coaches always do a great job of scouting reports and making sure we're ready and prepared to come out and play the team each night. And so it's just we just have to focus and kind of embrace that because it takes a while sometimes, but we just go through play-by-play and work hard, and then we're just focused, and we have the game plan ready.
Here's Patberg trying to get it over that long reach of Shakira Austin. Royster ripped it down, and she draws a foul. Well, we've been with Tyra Buss. Tyra, it's great to chat with you. Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. Thanks for having me. It's great to talk to you guys as well.
And it is a great atmosphere inside Assembly Hall where Maryland and Indiana are wedged in a 2-point game. So this is Kyla Charles, and she has been in control 17 of the 27 so far for the Terps.
And it seems so quiet because she gets out in transition, and right now that is a big difference in the game. Maryland is leading that charge with significant 17-6 lead.
She gets a breather right now midway through the second quarter with Vujicic in off the bench instead.
Maryland's defense, excellent job clogging up the paint. Royster with a power move and up and over 2 trees.
That's sort of how it went for Royster on Thursday. She had some chances and just had some unlucky iron on her shots.
She's a little undersized in the post, and she's not a phenomenal leaper, but she's very, very strong, and that's how she manipulates on the inside. She's got to work on getting that shot more consistent in the paint. Meanwhile, Jones shows her how it's done.
5 now for Stephanie Jones, the junior. Dubé is playing with 2 fouls for the Hoosiers. Berger. Bounce feed and another turnover for Indiana. That's 11 here.
My opinion, they are doing a great job of kind of turning the corner off of the weave, trying to get inside the paint, but trying to make that pass, especially down low, it's just not happening. Indiana's going to have to think about something else. The defense too strong inside.
Nice defense by Grace Berger on her fellow freshman Taylor Mikesell. And then Vujicic bumps Patberg and picks up her second foul. Brenda Frese displeased.
She's still having a conversation.
So Charles returns. Vujicic exits. This was her second foul.
There it is. She just kind of squeezed by, but I guess it was just enough of a rub. And you got to remember, if she's bumped out of the line that she is currently in, then yes. If she's displaced even a little bit, the chance there will be a call.
Maryland matching up in the zone. Penn shuffled the feet. And that's a call that Brenda Frese wanted earlier. It got called against Taylor Mikesell, and Brenda Frese, after it happened, said, hey, we had a similar thing with Indiana at this end of the floor.
And that's why you go ahead and communicate with the referees and say, hey, take a look at this. It's fresh on their mind. It's subliminal. It works.
So 12 turnovers for the Hoosiers, yet they're within 4 of the number 11 team in the country. Charles.
Oh my goodness.
What a first half. She's up to 19.
That's got to be a, we'll check. We'll let you know, but it's got to be a first half record. Because she's not done yet. There's still 2 minutes and 40 seconds left in the quarter, or in the half.
Yaney, a floater through the zone. No. This is as large as the Terps lead has been. And now it's an 8-point margin.
I like that look from Stephanie Jones. I like the fact that at 6'2", she has the length, but she has really worked on stepping out, facing up, and being able to knock down that shot, short corner.
Berger. Again, Austin with that length at 6'5" alters the shot.
Better stop the ball, better stop the ball.
Charles kept it alive. Austin lost the handle. And it stays with the Terps.
Well, Maryland is very, very deadly because they have so many weapons off the penetration. Charles does not care. And here, Stephanie Jones does not have to turn and try to drop step in. She has now a nice little turnaround on the face-up.
That's a really nice baseline out-of-bounds play drawn up by Brenda Frese to make this a 9-0 run and a 10-point lead.
And that's how Maryland gets it done. That pace, they shove it at you, they shove it at you. And when you least expect it, the numbers grow out of the transition.
11 left on the shot clock for the Hoosiers. Six to shoot. Pepper got a little separation. Wide left, Austin the rebound. Maryland running.
Mikesell with a good look.
Jones finishes and the foul.
That has to hurt, not just physically, but emotionally as well. Maryland putting an exclamation mark on how you run in transition. Great feed from Mikesell from the elbow extended. And then you just keep on coming. Jones now has a lot more agility and versatility with her body than she was as a freshman. Getting better all the time. Like we said earlier, she's coming off of a 20-point effort against Ohio State.
And hey, Vera, Maryland talked about after its loss at Michigan State where the Spartans jumped on them early. Brenda Frese talked so much about the energy after that and said we need to come out and bring it from the tip and give 40 minutes of good energy. And you can say they've done that for 20 minutes so far.
They have not let up. And I think that's the key, and that might be the block of the day, the block of the week.
And a flex from Shakira Austin.
Honestly, I'm seeing some great blocks, but that one literally knocked, I think, went into the row, 7th row with the lady with the popcorn. This is gone. That's out of here. Go ahead and flex. Thanks.
Flexing maybe like the new finger wag.
Yeah, it's like a curtsy.
Wise dives on the floor, but can't save it, and it goes back to Maryland. Wow, Shakira Austin. She has already set Maryland's freshman blocks record, and we're not even done with January.
No, we're not. She's got so much upside to her. And Coach Brenda Frese was talking about earlier with us just how she naturally came in with all of that raw talent, that raw athleticism, and now as she begins to, so she naturally was defensively aggressive. Now she's starting to put her offense together. She'll learn and she'll grow, she'll get better.
Well, credit Indiana for getting on the floor a couple times in these last 2 minutes or so, and this time the arrow points the way of the Hoosiers. Indiana has not scored in nearly 6.5 minutes.
They have definitely struggled. And that's the key. They came out. We were excited about that tempo and the pace. It's not can they do it, can they maintain it with a team like Maryland for 40 minutes.
Austin pried it away from Gould Bay.
Uh-oh. Charles on the run.
Austin on the receiving end. It's a 14-0 Terps run, and Indiana doesn't have points since the 7:01 mark.
That is pretty frustrating if you're an Indiana coach right now. They have been stifled because of good defense, passing lane hands. Every time Indiana puts it on the floor, they're there.
A dominant second quarter from Maryland. This was tied 20-20 after the first 10 minutes, and all Maryland does in the second quarter is outscore the Hoosiers 20-5.
Yep, that's it. They continue to push, and a huge reason, there she is, Kyla Charles.
19 for Charles, and a big halftime lead for the number 11 Terps. Well, after the break, we'll head back to our Chicago studios. Elise Menaker and Bobby Kelsey will have the halftime report on the other side. What's that, like a 5-length lead in the baby race right there?
She's like the Kyla Charles of Indiana.
All smiles in Bloomington, Indiana. Certainly for Maryland, up by 15 at the half as we welcome you back to Assembly Hall. Vera and Mike here with you. And is it as simple as turnovers and transition for the first 20 minutes?
It is just that simple. I mean, Maryland, both these teams came off to an awesome start. But Maryland established the tempo because they were able to get out in transition. They played awesome defense, took advantage of those points off of the turnovers.
Yeah, it was a Maryland team that really got out and ran in the second quarter. They forced all those turnovers from Indiana, and Kyla Charles, boy, she was great.
Holy smokes. I mean, you want to talk about a track star. First and foremost, she always hangs around in the paint, but she does an outstanding job of just getting out in transition, running the floor. To add some versatility, the stop and pop with range about 17 feet deep, so it becomes very difficult to guard a player like this. 19 first half points. And you take a look there, you can see the fast break points of those 19 probably do belong to Kyla Charles. So again, she's not necessarily a one-woman show because this is a very, very balanced Maryland team, but she holds her own.
And the note at the bottom was that Maryland finished the second quarter on a 14-0 run. Indiana doesn't have any points since the 7:01 mark of the second quarter.
Yeah, painful. They're 2 of 17 in that second quarter.
That's a good start for the Hoosiers as Brenna Wise hauls in the rebound. Maryland was +5 in the first half on the glass.
So very important to see how Indiana adjusts. As painful as it was this second quarter, it is not impossible for them to get back in this contest. It's going to have to be a lot of great defense on their part. You see, they run Penn through the elevator screens, looking to see if they can get her a good shot. They just can't do it.
And then Penn draws a foul.
Almost didn't get it. That whistle was late. She was waiting to see, am I going to get it or not?
It's the first foul on Blair Watson, who will check out not even a full minute into the quarter. And Shanice Lewis replaces her. Indiana has not received any points yet from Allie Pepper. She is 0 of 7. She's turned it over 3 times.
That is a great point because they need her so much. Indiana continues to throw the ball away. Penn drops the head on the missed pass. They have to readjust.
Again, Terry Morin has said to the team, and the players know this, they talk about it, 15 is the number of turnovers that they want to stay below.
Sure.
Well, they have 14 already.
Yeah.
Kyla Charles in the mid-range.
Well, you know there was one name that resonated in the locker room for Indiana. It was definitely Kyla Charles, so they'll have to start getting out to change how they play her in defense, but she continues to just chase down the basketball.
2 more offensive rebounds on that possession for Maryland, though it didn't amount to points. Yaney in transition.
She does an outstanding job of cutting through traffic and getting to the rack. They'll need more of that.
If you're Indiana, start thinking stops.
Well, the key is for Indiana, they've got to chip away. As far as Maryland's concerned, they just have to continue doing what they do. Attacking the basket, playing great defense, getting out in transition.
Pepper couldn't finish, but Kim Royster with an offensive rebound. Penn in and out.
I just believe Penn runs away from her shot. I made a comment the last time. I think she's more accurate when she stays and holds up the goose to be sure that it goes in.
Austin draws a foul.
Sometimes it's just enough. She pulls away just a little too soon.
Well, it's her classmate in transition.
Yeah. Bindu Yaney making it happen. That's just a beautiful play. She slices through 2 Maryland defenders, crosses over, and gets to the right of the rim.
That's the first foul on Kim Royster. Hey, coming up next on BTN, our doubleheader continues. We got a rivalry showdown in Ann Arbor as Jenna Allen leads the Spartans against Hallie Film and the Wolverines. Big Ten women's basketball that continues next right here on BTN.
How competitive is that game going to be for the state of Michigan?
Yeah, you heard Elise and Bobby talking about it during the halftime report, how great those crowds have been, and then the on-court product as well. 2 teams that are really, really talented.
Great job, Elise and Bobby, by the way.
Brenna Wise hit 2 threes from that right wing in the first half. Maryland is 6-2 in the Big Ten, 1 game behind Rutgers. Indiana in a logjam behind the Terps at 5-3. Charles a bit too firm.
I was just about to say she literally sliced through 4 defenders to get to that. Bird finally.
Offensive foul.
Oh my goodness, she finally gets one to go through, and there she is. That one was just ripped away. Wow. We'll take a look on penetration. I'm sure they're going to call her for that dip shoulder. And it's always tough because technically when you look at the lateral movement, you have to ask the question whether or not the defender on that one, Shanice Lewis, did she beat her to the spot? But it was the fact that that shoulder went down that I think hurt Pat Bird.
Shakira Austin picks up her second foul on the rebounding action. Here's one more look.
See, she's still moving laterally, so it's a tough call. Because the big question is, did she get set first? Did she beat her to the spot? Did she get set? And I'm sure Terry Morin was over there getting some clear direction on the call.
That's one word for it. Here's Bendu Yaney. Looking to create with a size mismatch. She has the speed advantage on Frazier, but couldn't lay it in.
Yeah, she likes to go east to west on that drive and taking advantage of turning the corner when she can. That is a staple for Bendu Yaney, typically very efficient.
Maryland is still searching for its first points. 4 minutes into the second half, and Wise ripped it away from Jones, who's fouled on the second effort.
Well, a good block on the first try, but Jones, relentless, continues to go up and after the basketball. First of all, great seal to get Wise on her backside. Just a little bit of body contact.
They got that foul on Bouvet, her third.
Question mark. A little question mark.
Jim Royster is back and replaces Brenna Wise. Jones is an 80% free throw shooter. She's good on both and has 14. She averages 13 a game. Yaney, like you said, so dangerous when she turns the corner. Crowd wanted a foul. Terry Morin is fired up. Janice Constantine trying to hold her back.
Yep.
And that's a technical foul on Terry Morin.
It's coming. And it might have been needed. It might be exactly because you could see how frustrated Bendu Yaney was. It might have been just enough. Terry Morin is super frustrated.
Glenn Box, the assistant coach, just said to Tim Daly, I've got her, to make sure it's not anything more.
Yep. She's still heated. That's a community effort from her coaches. Reel her back in. Terry's already on the court. Bendu Yaney got fouled, she felt. And then she continues to ask the question. And here it comes.
And the crowd is chanting Terry.
And here's the foul. She gets hit on the arm.
And again, no foul was called.
Yeah, no foul was called. I mean, to her, I guess, defense, for lack of a better word, there was a visible call. I mean, a visible foul, at least from our vantage point.
Well, she was steaming after the offensive foul that was called on Pat Bird as well. So it was the culmination of more than 4 minutes of action here. Here's another look.
So it is. This is, I mean, we can clearly see.
Yeah, that's absolutely a foul.
Yeah, absolutely, positively a foul.
So 1 of 2 for Mike Sell. A 16-point deficit that Jalen Penn trims by 2.
Well, pay attention, because sometimes these technical fouls on the coaches are emotional momentum swings for the team.
Yeah, it was a weird mix. When the officials came together, the crowd started to stand and cheer. Indiana's bench did as well, and then the booing for Mike Sell at the free throw line. And now Indiana with a couple points and a loose ball that Bouvet's trying to track down.
So we'll pay attention and see if this gets the team going.
The foul does get called this time, and Yaney will go to the free throw line.
And you know what's interesting? Now I'm going question mark because I'm not sure if there was a foul on that play. It could have been. But either way, we're going to pay attention just to see how much this makes a difference in the game. Yaney not able to capitalize from the free throw line. And this is a second look to see if on this second one, we saw the first one was a foul, but the question mark might be here, at least from that angle, was there a foul the second time? But they're even, Stephen.
Yaney misses both, and then a foul is called underneath on Alexa Gulbe.
Bendu Yaney, usually a 70% free throw shooter, not connecting.
Check that. They give it to Royster, so it's her second and not Gulbe's fourth.
Okay.
Now, those were just the third and fourth free throws that Indiana's attempted all day.
So this is Royster. Royster definitely does the shove. Brianna Frazier goes down. So that one pretty obvious as well. A lot of emotion in the game right now, so you can feel the energy that's in this arena.
Well, Shanice Lewis and Brenda Fries just shared a laugh near the Maryland bench. They are calm. They have a 15-point lead in hostile territory. Another offensive rebound for Maryland. A kick out, a free. Mixell off the mark.
Gulbe is one of those players that I definitely want to keep an eye on because she certainly needs to progress.
Royster on the boards. The third effort, no. Batted around, and Lewis secures it.
Yaney up against three black shirts on that one, trying to keep it alive on the offensive glass.
Mixell was drifting a bit, but Frazier, another offensive board. That is double digits on the offensive glass now for Maryland.
Maryland doing well to have a sizable lead here as they have not been able to have a great offensive third quarter. That's what they want. Keep it simple around the rim. Little baseline drive to change up the action.
First points for Kyla Charles in the third quarter. She's up to 21 total.
Pat Berg has really struggled, cannot seem to buy a good basket in this game.
In her last 3 games, including today, in which she's scoreless, she only has 10 points total.
Yeah, I mean, for a player that averages 16 a game in conference.
A tie-up, and it's back to Indiana. Well, this has been an energized third quarter. Terry Morin has been fired up on the Hoosiers sideline. Her team is trying to dig out of a hefty deficit against Maryland in Bloomington.
We're still in it. Stay focused. I actually think it's far more of an emotional charge right now than it is anything strategic. However, on the strategic front, this is a Indiana team that went 2 for 10, but I'm sure they are aware of the fact that defensively they've held Maryland to 1 of 12. So they have to just continue the defensive part, but now they're going to have to really work on executing on offense.
Right, they've cleaned up some of the turnovers, and they have defended well against Maryland in the third quarter.
Yeah.
They just haven't finished from in close, and Ali Patberg hasn't had the outside shot going either.
Right, so execution, if she's drawn up anything, she's drawn up something either to get pinned in action, and there it is.
Nice backdoor cut.
You got to get your scorer going. You have to be able to, do the right thing, and I think that's perfect coming out of the timeout. They look for something to change that negative energy into something positive by getting their shooter going.
Penn's the top scorer for the Hoosiers with 9. Austin spins into a tough shot around Wise, and she left it short.
And if they needed another player to get going, it's got to be Ali Patberg. Offensively, she has not been able to connect. This is the team's leading scorer overall. Jalen Penn has stepped up late in conference and is leading in conference scoring for her team. Oh, yeah, and don't forget about Brenna Wise.
3 to shoot. Patberg did not get it off in time anyway. Well, out of the timeout, Indiana drew up this, and it's our State Farm assist of the game.
Well, great job on the back door. Just a little slip, finding Jalen Penn from the outside. Remember, that went against Lewis, I guess, who's thinking, hey, I got to make sure I keep my eye on Jalen Penn as a shooter. So it's the perfect idea to go ahead and use the back door.
Brenna Wise just bumped the cutter in Jones. Wise picks up the foul first. Free throws the rest of the way for Maryland this quarter.
2 free throws.
Indiana has been so good at home. They are 16-4 this season overall. They've been dynamite in this building, really going back the last year and a half. But Maryland just came out with a second quarter that has been the difference. Everything else has been equal tonight.
Yeah, definitely. That second quarter was on fire. Kyla Charles, amazing.
Jones is good on both for a Maryland team that is 70% from the free throw line as a squad.
Now this Maryland pressure is just enough to take a little time off the clock as it is designed, slow things down. Remember, both of these teams came out fast-paced. Both of these teams were scoring.
The last 3 games, Allie Patford is just 5 of 32 from the floor. Offensive foul on Stephanie Jones, her second.
I was about to say that was the late whistle. I think they were all kind of checking to be sure that it was a charge. Now, good job getting position for sure. She's outside of the box, well outside of the box, so I don't think they had to discuss much.
Berger just blows right by the midcourt trap. Extra steps.
And
traveled with it first.
Oh, no, she got the travel. Extra step going in.
Those were long strides from Grace Berger. Hoosier turnover. Off ball, there's a foul. It'll go on Jalen Penn. They get Wise instead. They were both there.
I was about to say, it almost looked like Maryland charged into its own player. Brenna Wise was up in the mix.
Lewis's first trip today. Hey, tonight on BTN, The Journey connects you to the stars of Big Ten basketball with access you just won't find anywhere else, so you don't want to miss an all-new edition of The Journey, fueled by Gatorade tonight at 7:30 Eastern, right here on BTN.
Some of the best stories on The Journey.
And tonight you can hear about Romeo Langford, who actually grew up not too far from Rondell Moore of Purdue. Wise misfires from 3.
Yeah, that definitely would have helped a little bit to get Brenna Wise going. Again, there's some great shooters on this Indiana team, but nothing falling. Really a dismal third quarter of shooting.
Jones, a step back. Foul underneath. That'll be free throws for Indiana. On the weak side, Kyla Charles came in.
I don't know. I'm looking. I'm kind of exhausted. I'm exhausted with all of the fouls and the replays. I don't know what to call anymore. You know, that's one of those ones where I'm kind of like, I don't, you know. Do you call that? Okay.
There's the second foul on Kyla Charles. And Bendu Yaney good on both after she had missed her first 2. If you're Indiana, you want to trim it down a little bit more from 16 headed to the fourth quarter.
Well, yeah, this sizable lead was established in the second quarter. And hasn't changed very much because neither team has been very effective in scoring. So a few great defensive efforts could change this for Indiana a little bit, but this is a hard team. This is a hard team to beat. Maryland has been long known for their ability, and quite honestly, they're a very strong fourth quarter team. It's like they really turn up the Jets in that final segment.
7 on the shot clock for the Terps.
So if Indiana wants to get back in this game, there's no time like the present.
Vujicic too strong with a loose ball and a shot clock violation. So you got about 46 seconds left if you're Indiana. You do have to deal with Brenda Freese's three-quarters court pressure, but
yes,
maybe you try to go 2 shots for 1 and get a shot off quickly.
I agree.
Berger is thinking the same thing. Wise steps in, gets the roll.
Great job offensively from Brenna Wise picking up on the loose side rebound. Now, can they silence a Maryland team and, as you were saying, get one more possession, possibly turn the tide a little bit on this sizable lead from Maryland? Mike Sell setting it up, waiting for her time, and guess who has the basketball?
Yeah, Tara Morin was just yelling handoff at her team. Berger dives for it. Kick out Vujicic. Got it. They call it a 3. They're going to go check it at the next stoppage. Final second for Berger. Denied by Maryland.
Yeah, Berger finding a hard.
Huge name players heading into that season and heading into that postseason run. They hadn't received the sort of national attention that we know a lot of those names to be now.
Steph White was a huge name. I don't care what anyone says.
Beyond Steph White. Our former teammate, of course, from small town Indiana. Well, to begin the fourth quarter, that's Vujicic for 2.
That pressure Maryland is putting on the backcourt takes so much time off the clock. It uses up half the shot clock just for Indiana to get into their offense. Berger having a really tough time. Freshman has been introduced to the University of Maryland. And the way they play defense in your face, very intimidating. You can see some of that frustration. Some discussion as to whether or not they're resetting that clock, the shot clock.
Yeah, I'm not sure why they would. It was really good
like
defense from Vujicic against Berger. 8 on the shot clock. Here's Penn.
That's a good move.
And the rolls just have not been there for Indiana, but credit the freshman Gould Bay for a second chance, and now 2 free throws.
I think Gould Bay has many of her best games ahead of her. I think she's got a lot of upside. She's got good skills. She's athletic. Her size. Great read here on the offensive rebound. You see her timing on that rebound, and she's got a nice step through. So she's got a nice little arsenal of moves.
She's so skilled that she's an excellent free throw shooter as well. 85%, but she just missed the first. And I think back to Thursday at Michigan against Halifax, against Naz Hillman. It was Gould Bay who was in there. Brenna Wise was seated on the bench for a lot of that second half.
That's right. Definitely that one player that could be the X factor for this Indiana team moving forward.
Quick first step from Mike Sell on Penn. What a find to Steph Jones.
Great penetration and then big post who can flat out just score in the paint.
This Maryland defense has been locked in all day.
It has totally, you know, as much as you want to talk about the mechanics of the game, the emotion matters. And this definitely is a team that became very emotionally frustrated, and it has showed up a little bit in their game.
Gould Bay, and the size advantage gets the roll. A chance at 3. Trying to cut the deficit below 20.
Giving this Indiana team a little bit of light because Maryland certainly has jumped in and jumped all over this team. Good pass from Berger, the 2 freshmen figuring it out, the 2-man game.
She's the rookie from Latvia.
Ube.
Telling me to remember the name?
Ube.
That's what you think for the future, huh?
Yeah, I like it.
Coming up on 8 to go. Look, we've talked about Indiana turning over the basketball, but we credit Maryland. This is a 32% field goal shooting performance from Indiana, and Maryland has just been all over the place defensively.
And Maryland also, I mean, when you think about, they're only shooting about 38%, which is well below their average. This is just two teams that really, the grittiness kind of took over and became more of the storyline of the game. The intensity, the grittiness. Shots stopped falling after the half.
Mixell hadn't shot it all that well before that make with the shot clock winding down.
Mixell,
just 2 of 10.
a big workhorse. Coach Brenda Frese really, really high on her. There it is.
The second one from Jalen Penn from 3. So we will step aside. Can Indiana wedge its way back and mount a big comeback? It's a big Maryland lead as the Terps try to stay within 1 game of Rutgers toward the top of the Big Ten standings. And it's been the junior class in particular, Kyla Charles and Stephanie Jones, who have led the way. And we can do this, Matt. That's 41 points between them.
It is 41 points. The inside joke, folks, yep, I added 51. I was really excited about the 51, but 41 out of 60 points still, 2/3 of this Maryland offense just from those two.
Yeah, on a day where Taylor Mixell hasn't shot it well, she's just 3 of 11. And on a day where Blair Watson hasn't scored and has not played heavy minutes, they have leaned so heavily on those two, and they've delivered.
Wow, look at that defense, that trapping defense. Pretty amazing.
Jones
did not get back enough, and Maryland makes them pay.
That's 20 now for Jones.
When you have a player like Jones that can put up, we talked about coming into this game, she just came off of 20 against Ohio State. You have a player like that on the inside, and then someone like Kyla Charles, who's just instant offense. It is a very tough matchup for any team to figure out how you can athletically play with both a really busy guard and a well-to-do post.
Charles hangs on to it with 5 left on the shot clock. Hard screen set by Jones. Charles,
no way.
Why not?
No way. She even turns her hands over like, well, I don't know. Well, went in. Works for me. she was even surprised.
Yeaney to the cup.
Bendu Yeaney has spent so much time on that floor. But how about Kyla Charles? They're all over. They're getting hands on the dribble off the bounce. And she just kind of bends down and just flips it up there. And then afterwards, she's like, yeah, okay. It went in. This is good. Okay, look at, she was shocked. Like, I'm not sure how it happened.
And she sneaks the smile in there.
She's got skills. She amazes herself.
Yeah, we heard Bobby Kelsey raving about her with Elise on the halftime report. She is just so talented. And she had 19 points in the first half. You said early in the third quarter that her name was probably uttered quite a few times in Indiana's locker room.
Absolutely.
They've done a better job on her, but when she's making plays like that, she's going to get hurt.
And what's hurting Indiana right now, too, is they're still struggling to score. Even if their defense has picked up a little bit, you see Kiana Ward in the game on Mixell. She's got a lot of energy defensively.
Frazier to the basket. And she flexes for the camera and will go to the free throw line.
Big move from Frazier. Again, so many weapons. It's a big move, gets the bump, and finishes. Everybody wants to flex.
I mean, is that not a senior play there? She makes the shot, looks around, and she says, I think there's a camera to my right. I'm going to look in that direction. Maryland is dripping confidence here in the fourth quarter.
They have a lot to flex about. They have come in to a place that is very difficult for teams to play on the road. This is an Indiana team that's gone 9-1 this season here.
And they've won 20 of their last 21 here at home, going back to last year. A shot by Worthen on Vujicic. Worthen leads the break and lays it in.
Little offense coming off the bench in transition. Certainly welcome.
And so Terry Morin takes the timeout with 2 more remaining. 5:35 to go in the fourth quarter from Assembly Hall. It's all Maryland in the second. Are here in Bloomington, and boy, this guy has a lot more confidence than I do.
Courageous in front of all of the IU fans. Definitely hyping up Maryland and the Orioles. He's got the whole Maryland thing going.
And he is outnumbered.
Where he is outnumbered.
I guess they are outnumbered.
They are not happy. Now patty cake, everything is going on there.
You heard Elise say it. There's a good one coming up after our game here from Assembly Hall, part of our doubleheader today on BTN. And boy, with today's result, should it hold over the final 5.5 minutes, Maryland will get to 7-2. Rutgers starts the day at 7-1. You've got Iowa and Purdue. That's a great game coming up. Those are some 6-2 teams. I mean, this conference is just loaded.
Great defense. Kiana Worthen kicked it off. Can Jalen Penn finish? He does.
Penn will go to the free throw line as Indiana tries to grab a hold of some momentum.
Again, this was all caused by great pressure defense. When you can get someone who knows how to pressure the ball handler, it makes it difficult to get passes off. And Jalen Penn is the recipient of the loose ball from that.
And she stamps a three-point play. So a 20-point game, just over 5 left. And a different defensive look from Indiana. They toss some more traps at Maryland.
They'll zone it and trap it. See if they can force some of the outside shots. Jones certainly had been very busy in the paint, although she's out of the game now.
Mixell trying to shoot her way back into a rhythm. Had been 1 of 6 before that make for me.
But that's what the problem is about playing this Maryland team. Once you start collapsing and saying, you know what, let's close off the paint from Charles on the drive. Let's close off the paint from Jones getting busy. Then you've got Mixell out on the perimeter that just knocks it down.
Kim Royster faces up. And scores. Kyla Charles wanted it on the block. She's got her 3rd double-double of the season with a season-high 25 points. Frazier on the glass with the stick back.
Frazier very nice, very poised to follow up after her own shot.
Penn
way
off the mark. 2 of 7 from 3. To 6 of 7, of course, here on Thursday with a career-high 28 points against Michigan. Mixell around the screen. Royce for the board.
A lot of loose passes taken away. Maryland is so aggressive on the pass. Their on-ball pressure and their passing lane pressure. You have to be careful with the basketball. I think Indiana learned that lesson today.
Don't you like the energy from Sarah Vujicic off the bench here in the second half?
I do a lot. Another player with a lot of upside.
Junior college transfer who has started to score a bit more over the last few weeks.
Known for her scoring on the junior college circuit.
Mixell pushes. Lewis.
A rare attempt.
Berger threads a pass to Worthen. Doncic off balance. Here's Keanu Worthen. Kyla Charles picks up the foul. Well, this is one way to get a pass up court in transition by Grace Berger.
That's it. Nice bounce pass. A little double bounce. Get low and make it go.
Good catch
Finish
by Worthen, too.
Yeah, very good finish. The lefty.
Here's the sophomore Worthen out of Fort Lauderdale. A reminder, Thursday, 10 p.m. Eastern, Passion and Perseverance. The 1999 Purdue team that won the national title under Carolyn Peck.
That will be very historic and exciting to watch. It'll be like reliving. I was actually calling games even back then. Remember that game well.
What a team it was. And some of those names that were big at the time and have grown even bigger since.
Yeah, absolutely. I was a big fan of both Steph White and Yukari Figs. The guard play on that team, exceptional.
Yeah, Steph White tells a cool story about it, how she was from small town Indiana, and when she could go to her hometown and say, hey, I got a scholarship and I'm going to play Division I college basketball, just how much that meant to her community.
Sure. Yeah, that's pretty big.
Well, Charles checks out, and what an afternoon for Kyla Charles, the star junior. 25 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists for good measure, and a double-double effort. Berger drives, and Austin commits the foul.
Shakira Austin just racks up blocks unassumingly. I think there was some discussion on who's the better shot blocker, the better defender in conference. She's only one of 15 that is being looked at right now for the Naismith Defensive Player of the Year, but she is the only freshman on that entire roster.
Bobby made her pick. She likes Ariana Harris.
Wow. I really don't want to vote just yet, but Ariana Harris definitely is a front runner for me as well.
You're trying to keep your Twitter mentions safe and not upset any fan base.
That's right. I can't upset the fans just yet, but I was impressed with Shakira Austin today, though, being able to see her live. That one block alone, I think, was just kind of changed my viewpoint.
Yeah, we chatted with Brenda Fries pregame today as Frazier scored. And we asked her, hey, does she remind you of anyone in the college game or at the next level? And we threw out the name Brianna Turner, who burst onto the scene at Notre Dame 4 or 5 years ago, and she was so good defensively. And see Shakira Austin, like you said, on that Defensive Player of the Year watch list, one of 4 from the Big Ten. And Brenda Fries made the comparison to Laura Harper, who, of course, one of the all-time greats at Maryland.
Right, and when you look at all of those Naismith Defensive Players of the Year that we see there, what a great list to have 4, not 1 or 2, but 4 coming from this Big Ten conference. Just shows you how defensively tenacious this conference is. When you have teams like Rutgers and Purdue in your conference, you already know it's a defensive, seriously defensive. And Maryland, let's talk about that. Because Maryland gets a lot of nods because they're so offensively intense, but they're offensively intense because they scare the bejeebies out of teams defensively, and they lose the ball and they get out in transition.
Austin had it poked away in the final minute. Berger a no-look find to Pat Bird. It's an 8-second difference between game and shot clocks. And Mike Sell draws a foul. We've got another great game coming up at the top of the hour in Ann Arbor. They're going to pack the Chrysler Center for Michigan State and Michigan. And A few more games set to follow later on in the afternoon as well. How about Purdue, Iowa? That's going to be a big game. Couple teams at 6-2. Right now, Maryland, which came into the day at 6-2, is set to improve with one more win in the Big Ten and in convincing fashion on the road here in Bloomington. We had such a fast-paced start in the first quarter. Brenda Freese's Maryland team put the clamps on Indiana in the second quarter, forced turnovers, got out in transition, and Kyla Charles steered the ship with 25 points a season high, and Maryland blows out Indiana in Bloomington. Terry Morin's team coughed it up 20 times. They had the 20-point out.